Hi. I've been asked what my mission is, and it's to make the end of life better for all of us. We'll all die eventually, and to make that go better is, I think, a core issue for our times. I do that through my work. I'm a professor of philosophy. I teach medical ethics at the University of Utah. I have worked on issues of death and dying for my entire career. My name's Margaret Batten, Margaret Papst Battin in full extent, or I'm called Peggy for short. And I'd like to tell you about a book that's just coming out. This is called The Ethics of Suicide, Historical Sources. And it's a huge, feel it, right, 700 pages of historical sources about what the great minds in the Western tradition, in Eastern traditions, even in oral cultures that had no written traditions or that were destroyed, what they have thought about issues, about how a person, about the role a person may play in the end of their own life, own life. Plato distinguishes between permissible and impermissible suicides. Aristotle says it's a matter of affront to the society. The Stoics celebrated this as the death of the wise man. The early church fathers condemned it with increasing strength, and so on through the entire history of the West. Eastern traditions have different practices and views as well, but these are all things that are lost to us currently. We don't realize that these early thinkers, and all up through the entire history of West, East, and cultures everywhere, can really tell us a lot about what we may not do, think we should do, think we shouldn't do in our role of our own roles in dying. Now, you might wonder why this is important. Well, we discuss issues like physician-assisted suicide, or what proponents call death with dignity or aid in dying. But there are other circumstances too. There's suicides of social protest. There are suicides of military and guerrilla activity, like the Japanese kamikaze or the Islamic jihadists. There are suicides of heroism. There are suicides, and of course, the suicides of depression and despair, what we typically label suicide and think is always to be prevented. It's not that we shouldn't prevent suicide. I'm certainly committed to preventing those suicides that seem ununderstandable, ill-grounded, short-sighted, self-defeating. But there are other circumstances as well that we need to consider. And in particular, since each one of us, or almost all of us, will in the contemporary world face an end of terminal illness involving a long, protracted dying process and downhill slope, we need to think through what our own roles in that process, which is what will greet most of us, with some depth and reflection and concern.